Imagine standing in a dark cave 60,000 years ago. There is no language, no words for mother, no words for danger, no words for I love you. Just silence, grunts, gestures, fear, and yet, somehow, from that silence, humanity built poetry, speeches, songs, prayers, arguments, jokes. So here is the question that has puzzled scientists for over a century. How did a species that could not speak a single word become a species that never stops talking? Stay with me, because the answer is stranger, older, and more incredible than you think. Welcome back to the channel, explorers of the ancient world. Today we are traveling back millions of years, long before Egypt, long before writing, long before even the first campfire story was ever told, to answer one of the biggest mysteries of human evolution. How did we learn to speak? Because here is the wild part. Every other animal on Earth communicates in some way. Birds sing, whales click and moan across entire oceans, chimpanzees screech warnings to their troop, but none of them do what we do. None of them can describe a dream. None of them can tell a story about something that happened last year to someone who was not even there. None of them can whisper, I forgive you, or shout, we are free. Language is not just sound. It is the operating system of human civilization itself. And it did not appear overnight. It was built piece by piece, bone by bone, breath by breath, over millions of years of evolution. So let's go back to the very beginning and follow the incredible journey of the human voice. Around 3 to 4 million years ago, our ancient ancestors, creatures like Australopithecus, were already walking upright on the plains of Africa. But their brains were small, their throats were built more like an ape's than a human's, and scientists believe their communication was mostly limited to grunts, screams, and body language, not so different from chimpanzees today. If danger appeared, a sharp cry meant run, a certain posture meant submit, a bared tooth meant back off. It worked, but it was limited. You could warn someone about a lion right in front of you. You could not warn them about a lion that might come tomorrow. And that limitation, that inability to talk about the past or the future, may have been the very thing that pushed evolution forward. Here is something most people never think about. Before humans could speak, our bodies had to be rebuilt for it. Speech is not natural for a mammal's throat. It actually requires a dangerous evolutionary trade-off. Around the time of Homo erectus, roughly 1.8 million years ago, the human voice box, or larynx, began to shift downward in the throat. This gave us a longer vocal tract, a longer column of air capable of producing a wider range of sounds, vowels, and tones that apes simply cannot make. But here is the catch. Lowering the larynx also increases the risk of choking while eating. Every single human alive today shares this strange, dangerous inheritance. We are, quite literally, the only species that risks choking to death for the ability to talk. Evolution made a bet, and it paid off, big time. Speaking is not just about your throat, it is about breath control. Try this. Apes and other primates cannot regulate their breathing with the fine precision needed for long sentences. Humans, however, developed far greater control over our diaphragm and rib muscles. Fossilized vertebrae from ancient human ancestors show a wider spinal canal, wide enough to house the extra nerves needed to control breathing for speech. This means our ancestors were not just growing smarter. Their entire bodies, from ribs to spine to throat, were being sculpted by evolution into a living instrument for sound. Now let's talk about one of the most fascinating discoveries in this entire mystery, a gene called FOXP2. Nicknamed by some as the language gene, FOXP2 helps control the fine motor movements of the mouth, tongue, and lips, the precise muscle coordination required for clear, fluent speech. Remarkably, FOXP2 is not unique to humans. Mice have a version, birds have a version. Even Neanderthals, our ancient cousins, appear to have carried a very similar version of this gene. This tells us something incredible. The biological building blocks for speech may have existed in our ancestors far earlier than we once believed, quietly waiting, generation after generation, for the rest of the puzzle to come together. A voice box means nothing without a brain to organize it. As human brains grew larger, especially in regions like Broca's area and Wernicke's area, regions tied directly to language processing, our ancestors gained something extraordinary, the ability to organize sound into structure, not just noise, grammar, word order, meaning that could change entirely depending on how sounds were arranged. This is the difference between a warning cry and a sentence like, yesterday, near the river, I saw the pride of lions moving toward the herd. That sentence contains time, location, prediction, warning, all wrapped into sound. No other creature we know of has ever achieved that. Here's a question worth pausing on. Why did we need language at all? Many anthropologists believe the answer lies in one powerful force: cooperation. Early humans who could share knowledge. This berry is poisonous. The river floods after rain. That man betrayed our group, had a massive survival advantage over those who could not. Groups that could talk could plan hunts together, warn each other of danger, pass down survival knowledge to their children and their children's children. In a brutal, unforgiving prehistoric world, language may have been the single greatest survival tool humanity ever developed, more valuable than any spear or fire. This is where scientists still debate fiercely. Some believe basic language-like communication began with Homo erectus over 1 million years ago. Others argue that fully modern, grammatically complex language only emerged with Homo sapiens somewhere between 200,000 and 50,000 years ago. Interestingly, this window lines up with a dramatic explosion in human behavior: symbolic cave art, ritual burial, sophisticated tools, and long-distance trade between groups. Many researchers believe this was not a coincidence. Once humans could truly speak, truly share complex ideas, culture itself exploded almost overnight, at least in evolutionary terms. Language may be the spark that lit the fire of human civilization. Once speech existed, everything changed. Stories could be passed down. Myths could be created to explain the sun, the moon, death, and dreams. Elders could teach children not just by demonstration, but by explanation. Speech allowed humans to build something no other animal ever has: a shared imagination. A tribe unified not just by blood, but by belief, memory, and meaning. From that first fragile whisper in some smoky, firelit cave came epic poems, sacred prayers, love songs, laws, philosophy, and eventually, the very video you are listening to right now. So, how did humans learn to speak? The truth is, it was not one single moment. It was millions of years of evolution reshaping our throats, our lungs, our brains, and our genes, until one day, somewhere in Africa, a sound became a word, and a word became a world. Every conversation you have ever had, every song, every story, every I love you, it all traces back to that impossibly long journey. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because next time, we are diving into another incredible mystery of our ancient past. Until then, stay curious, stay wild, and I will see you in the next video.